Hello, everybody. Welcome to my mystery stamping. And I'm a little nervous because I haven't done a live in a while. But if you are joining me, let me know where you're joining me from. Say hello so that I know that you're here. And we'll have a lot of fun doing a mystery stamp today. And if you don't know what mystery stamping is I give you a set of clues. I usually post it on my Facebook business page and then in my mystery stamping group. You can find that under Creative Coach Lisa Mystery Stamping. And so you can request to join that group. And if you sign up for my newsletter, and it will be at the bottom of, when I post this on YouTube, it'll be at the bottom of the video. And so if you sign up for that newsletter, I will email you the clues and reminders of the Facebook Live. I haven't been doing the mystery stamp through Facebook Live. I've been doing them through Zoom classes and things like that. So I thought I would open it up to the Facebook Live section. So I haven't done it this way, so we'll see how that goes. For the month of April, I know I'm going to do it this way, and if it works out, I'll continue that. And if not, then I can always go back to the other. But if you sign up for my newsletter, you get information about Stampin' Up, things that are going on, and just some reminders for Facebook, to share some of my YouTube videos if you maybe missed them. And so I think I sent out a link to be able to find the Facebook Live, and I hope I did that correct because I had to do a refresher course to go ahead and schedule that ahead of time. So I'm giving a few people a chance to get on. Hopefully they will, pop on, see what it's all about, and go from there. So we'll go ahead and get started with our mystery card. I was explaining first about how you do mystery stamp. Forgot and got on a little tangent there. Is I have clues that I post, and you use whatever you have in your stash, and then you cut it according to my directions, the clues that I gave, and then whenever we get here on the Facebook Live, I'm going to put the card together, and then I am going to show you how, everything goes together. So you have your pieces. They will be similar. You can always change it. You do not have to do it how I do mine. These are just suggestions, things to give you inspiration to want to create cards, because who doesn't like to receive a card in the mail, or, just hand somebody a card? If you go out to eat, give your waitress or waiter, just a little something, and it always lightens their day. So I know when my team and I go for a team meeting, sometimes I'll give our waitress, a little thank you, and she always gets excited. So anyway, let's get started with this. I am using a paper that is called Wildly Flowering. Wildly Flowering. That's kind of hard for me to say. And so here are my bits and pieces. And like I said, you'll have different paper. You may have a different, like if I say a shape or things like that, you might have a different shape for your sentiment. I usually try to say, what I'm using on different things, especially like if I'm going to do a thick white background, I usually say I'm going to use this. That doesn't mean you have to use that, but I try to give a hint ahead of time that, what you might need. And then a lot of times I might say a shape for your sentiment, and it does, you can make it whatever. Sometimes I'll say a circle, but if I say circle, you can do a punch shape or another die cut shape. It doesn't matter. So it just makes yours look different. You can place your, like if it's DSP, you can place it differently on your card. So you do not have to follow exactly, but I'm here to help guide you along, coach you along on this card. So I have some ribbon here, and it is the natural, what's it called? I'm on the wrong side, I think. It's just a natural linen type. I don't know what to call it, like burlap, I guess. It just says natural on here that I see. So anyway, I'm going to use that for my little bit of ribbon. And then I do have a sentiment here, and I could not possibly tell you where I got that. It's on my desk. But I should have looked that up, but I did not. So I'll put that up there. And the only ink that I'm using is Pebble Path or Pebbled Path. And so that's nice about this is that it's one ink. So you don't have to have a lot of supplies to do this card. So I usually go through the clues with everyone and show the pieces that I have. All right. I think I maybe cut 2 of those. All right, so my first piece here is a card base, and I'm using Moody Moth, and it is 7 1/4 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4 on the 7 1/4 side. And so I want to say hello to Cindy. She's here on the video. So this one is at 7 1/4, and this is 5 1/2, and then you score it at the 4 1/4 here, and so that leaves you a little piece here. So I'm going to put the mountain on the inside. I'm going to go ahead and get this folded. Grab my bone folder here. We're getting started here. There we go. So that is our card base. I like mine to lay down a little bit better than that. And then I have a piece of basic white, and it's 2 3/4 right here by 4 inches. And then I have some coordinating cardstock, and these are, and my 2 by 2 square piece here. And then my coordinating cardstock is the Pebbled Path. That's the reason why I brought the Pebbled Path ink in. And so let's look here. It is 3 inches by 4 1/4 inches. And then I have a piece that's 1 1/4, or pardon me, 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. And then our DSP, I have a 4 inch by 5 inch. And then I have a piece here that is 2 3/4 by 4, and this piece, I think I did an extra piece just for a pop of color, and this one I think is 2 1/8 by 2 1/8. I'll lay that up there. And so, and like I said, my embellishments are my ribbon. So I guess I maybe missed a piece, but you do not have to put that on there, and I may leave it off so that it goes along with the clues, and then I can show you the one that I have made so that you can see it with that extra pop of colors. I'll put that right up here. All right, so I think I'm going to do my stamping first so that it has time to dry. So I'm going to put all my pieces there, open up my ink. Like I said, I'm using Pebbled Path, and the sentiment that I'm using says, oh golly, no beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart. I've got it on here crooked, which it shouldn't really matter, but there, that looks a little bit better. So I'm using my 2 inch by 2 inch piece of basic white. I need to sand an edge here because it's a little rough. I did notice that before. And I just have a sander block. You can get these on Amazon. We used to sell them. You can get them on Amazon, or you can get them at a beauty supply, and like for when you do your nails. All right, so I just knocked some of those rough edges off. I'm going to ink out my stamp. Sometimes I have better luck if I take the ink to the stamp instead of the stamp to the ink. All right, so I'm going to bring that up here. I'm going to try my best to center it and get it straight. And it looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and close this ink so that I don't stick my finger in it. That up there. And I want that chance to dry. All right, so now then we are going to start putting our layers together. All right. So I need my pebbled path, and then your piece of DSP that is the 2 3/4 by 4. I'm gonna try tape runner. I've been trying to use this instead of liquid glue. You can do liquid glue. I really like the liquid glue, but I've been trying to use some of my other adhesives. But we don't always get along. I like to put it on a landscape so that I have a better reference, and it helps with me being able to center and get it straight. That looks pretty good there. All right, and then we're going to take our card base, and I'm going to add the piece that is 4 inch by 5 1/4. We're going to add that to the inside of our card base. Oops. So this is why I do not get along with the tape runner. I can get it started for 1 or 2 of the things, and then after that, I can't get it to go. All right, so on the shorter side, that should be on your left. The larger section should be on your right. Once again, I'm going to turn it on the landscape so that I have more of a line to see. That way I could see this edge, that edge, and the top, and that should be equal at the bottom. If I can equal those edges out, it should be equal here. And if you have directional paper, make certain it goes in the direction it's supposed to go. And I usually put like portrait, or a P for portrait, or an L for landscape. And then on this one here, I forgot to do that, but they were all in portrait. And then if it's just a square, I don't need to do that. So there's that. And then we're going to add our front piece on. So you can stamp on this if you want to add more dimension to your card. I chose not to because my paper, they're both kind of a busy type of paper. And so I chose not to, but I want to line this up so that it's pretty well centered. And then I'm going to hold it and flip this over. I forgot, I took my pencil with me. We had some storms last night, and we left to get away from the storms. And I'm gonna just pull this back and put a little pencil mark so I know not to go any farther than that with my glue. So this will not have any glue on it. So I just put a little bitty tick mark, and I can erase it here in a moment. All right, it's a minute. You could stay away from that tick mark. I mean, if you put your adhesive, a good adhesive on, it should not be a problem. All right, so now then I want to line that back up. I stayed away from my tick mark so I could just eyeball it again. Place that on there like that. And then we're going to open this up. Not certain mine's completely straight, but that's all right. It's homemade. All right, so then the piece that is the basic white, that this one here is the 2 3/4 by 4. So I'm going to open this up. I'm not adhering anything. I'm just kind of making certain about where things are going to be. And I think if I center it, ought to be good. So I'm just dry fitting to make certain that my white piece will not be showing. So I'm going to use liquid glue for this because that way it has a little bit of wiggle room in case I happen to lay it down to where the white piece is showing. So I always add my adhesive to my corners because if the corners come up, that's not good. If the edges are there and the corners, if edges are loose and the corners are adhered well, it shouldn't matter. So I'm going to lay that down where I think it needs to go. I'm not pressing it yet. Open that. And it clears because I made this a little bit smaller than the Pebbled Path coordinating cardstock. So I'm going to lay that in there. Press that down like that. So it is hidden just like that. All right, so now then we are going to add our sentiment to our pebbled, well, mine's Pebbled Path, but our sentiment to the coordinating cardstock that's 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. That right there. Like that. And then this is when I'm going to bring in my ribbon. I just need a small piece of it. I don't need very much. So on the back, I'm going to take, I'm twisting mine because I want both of them to have the polka dot on top. You don't have to do it that way. You can cut it and put 2 of them on there separately. But I'm going to add some adhesive so that can stick to the ribbon that I'm going to add. So I'm just going to stick it off here to the left side. That. Mine's not staying because it's so thick. So I'm going to add a piece of tape right there to that. And I'm going to use liquid glue, I believe. And I'm only going to put glue on the side that has the ribbon. So on the left side, because it's going to hang off just a little bit. I'm going to come over here. Press that down. Probably should have trimmed that piece of ribbon to where I had 2 pieces. It's been a while since I did my prototype. I'm going to hold that, see if it'll adhere. Sometimes when you use liquid glue, you have to, hold it for a few moments. Here, I think it's going to stay. And then that is our card. So our mystery card has been solved. I hope that this card pattern is one that you'll want to make more of. And so I'll move this out of the way. So here is the one we just made. Pardon me, losing my voice again. And then here is the one that I made ahead of time. This one has the Moody Mauve. Yes, I just now realized there's another light I did not turn on. There, might make it where you can see it a little bit better. So I have the Pebbled Path and the Moody Mauve, so it makes it pop just a little bit more. And here is the one with just the Pebbled Path. So I think it looks just fine right here with the Pebbled Path. But if you want to add a little bit of extra color, you can add it onto the Pebbled Path, like the back cardstock, and then add it, then put your sentiment on. So I want to thank you for joining me for my Facebook Live. And if you're catching the replay, I'd appreciate it if you would put in the comments where you're viewing from, and let me know what you think of the card. If you like the pattern that it ended up coming out to be, and if the clues were easy to follow. I'm hoping, as I think I've been doing mystery stamp going on 4 years. And so I'm hoping that I have it kind of perfected on how to make it where they're understandable. And so I want to thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that the mystery stamping clues and this pattern for the card is inspiring you to create something fun today. So until next time, happy stamping!